welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. I'm Spenser. I'm one of your hosts, and it is a glorious day in the neighborhood. I am joined on this glorious day by the other members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen who have come here today to give you yet another review.
Another. This is Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
Now, we have things coming up, and Jordan's going to tell you about it.
Yeah, so we have lots of things coming up, and the things I'm going to tell you about, we're going to start with social media. So, social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, we're all at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. That's where you can find us at all three of those social media platforms. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment, all that stuff. Also, this week we have Brandon's Wrestling podcast where he breaks down each event or each match, each event. What do they call in wrestling?
Jeez, it's disrespecting my joint.
I mean,
it's pay-per-view.
I mean,
week to week show. You can call it a show.
Yeah, his podcast where he reviews the week to weeks goings and comings of wrestling.
Yeah,
he does matches of the week. That's what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. Matches of the week. It's kind of difficult getting that out. I didn't realize that. And then not this week, right? But next week we have DC animation with Spenser and Friends. And Spenser, what is next upon our docket for the movie?
It should be episode 10 next week. That's going to be All-Star Superman.
Ooh, that's a good one. So you have a week to, catch the movie if you don't
really,
have
you
HBO
have 2
Max.
weeks.
True. So you got HBO Max, be sure and check out All-Star Superman, and then when episode drops, you can be sure and listen to it there. Yeah, and that's what we got.
Rate and review, all that nonsense.
Oh yeah, rate, review us on whatever streaming platform you use. We need that.
We like that. Today, as I'm sure you are aware by the title, we will be reviewing the newest hotness on Disney Plus. We will be reviewing episode 1 of Marvel's Secret Invasion. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say there's spoilers coming. I'm not going to run the whole spoiler warning. I will reserve that for movies and films, but
films?
We will be talking about the first episode of the show, and so if you have not watched it yet, you should pause my voice, go do that, come back. If you are not bothered by spoilers, or if you just watched it already, then let's talk about it. As is normally the formula, I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're going to talk about it. So, let's jump in. We open in Moscow with Agent Prescott inquiring about the idea of imposters among us. He is explaining to Agent Ross that he thinks Skrulls are on Earth and just causing a ruckus. He then attacks Agent Ross and ends up getting shot. Agent Ross is then chased by a mysterious Russian dude before falling to his death. We find out that it was Talos that was chasing him and that he was a Skrull. And then we have the opening credits. After that, Nick Fury's space Uber drops him off, and he is greeted by Maria Hill. Her name Maria, right? Did I just make that up? Okay.
No.
Because Maria Rambeau hit my ear, and I was like, right, Maria? Okay.
Putting two characters together.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I just knew there was another Maria. And when I said Maria, Hill is not where my heart wanted to go. So, I knew I had it right. I just had to check. They and Talos are discussing Gravik's plan to pretty much start a war and wipe out humans. Rhodey reports to the president that Nick Fury is AWOL and gets told to go handle it. Nick Fury takes a walk and gets abducted by Sonya, who basically tells him that he's old and washed up. He walks back home, but he did put a bug in her office. We then see that Beto welcomed a new that this person named Beto is welcomed to New Skrullos, a safe haven where Skrulls are free to be themselves. We see that humans are being abducted and put into a form of stasis, and that Skrulls can swap places with them and basically steal their minds. Nick Fury, Talos, and Maria Hill listen in on the conversation that Sonya is having about a potential bomb builder that they decide to intercept. A young Skrull woman is sent to pick up the bomb stuff and drop it off at the safe house. After doing so, Nick Fury and Talos go to investigate the guy, and he's not cooperating. So Talos tries to rough him up, but turns out that guy is a Skrull. So they fight, and Talos starts losing, and Nick Fury shoots him. Maria Hill begins to follow this young Skrull woman, but gets incapacitated, and then Talos begins chase. We learned that this young Skrull woman is Gaia, Talos' daughter. Nick Fury and Maria Hill visit a bar where she tells him that he's not ready for this because he's old and washed up. Gaia secretly meets with Talos to tell him what the plan is. There are 3 bombs, and she's going to mark them with infrared spray. Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and Talos are following the bomb bags through the crowded area using the infrared. The bags they were following were just decoys because they were empty, and Nick Fury ends up following Gravik, who detonates the 3 bombs in question. Then, while impersonating Nick Fury, Gravik shoots Maria Hill and kills her.
Rest in peace.
That closes out.
Man.
That closes out episode 1 of Secret Invasion, which is called Resurrection.
I know I did those name of the episode.
I probably should have said that at the beginning, but here we are.
Yeah.
So, I think I'll start with my thoughts.
I did want to ask, did we want to rate it first and then at the end rate it again? We want to do that simple?
I mean, we could rate the episode, but since it's only 1 episode, I mean, that can be hard to do, but I'm fine rating it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we can rate it, and then when we do the season finale, we look back on this and see.
Yeah, hold each other accountable for any wild ratings that we may have had.
Yeah. Y'all know I'm generous out the door.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this first episode, and I'm going to give this first episode an 8.5. I thought it was really good, and I thought that they did a good job of throwing in some things that were, I guess, consequential, or they did a really good job of like taking the events that have happened and making it have an effect on these people. I think that they did a good job of giving Talos some character, because we find out that he is doing his best to be a peaceful man. Like he really, like, because we didn't really see much character from him in Captain Marvel. We just kind of he was just kind of there. We did see a little bit of that, but not really. But in this, it was very clear to me that he wants peace, and he is very non-violent when he can be, and all of that. And I think that we, saw that happen, and we saw, him interacting with his daughter, and he said, "I'm not going to warn you again." And she was like, "Yes, you are." Like,
right.
What are you talking about? I know you. I think that watching this, it felt like a copy paste of Captain Falcon as far as the villains and what they were trying to do. Like, they felt like I got the same feeling from them that I got from the Flag Smashers. Just like whenever I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it felt like there were some copy paste things that they did with Kang from Ant-Man. But as much as I liked Captain Falcon, I think that this is a little bit better, or rather the concept of, a group of somewhat superpowered people being anarchists and trying to overthrow the government and trying to, quote unquote, liberate through terrorism.
Right.
And trying to, do it in the name of freedom. I think that the Flag Smashers, I understood their motivations, but it didn't feel like, I guess.
I don't even remember what their motivation was, to be honest with you.
They.
Oh, wait. Are they the people who, after the blip, they was like, there's too many people?
Yeah, things were better after the blip. And
yeah, that's what it
but,
was.
And that's kind of like, okay, I get that, but like, I feel like the Skrulls' motivation is a lot better in that they need a planet for their people. And I think that they're a lot more effective because the Skrulls are able to infiltrate without even other Skrulls knowing. Like, they're able to get into high government positions. They are able to, take people off the map and replace them. They are able to sow distrust within the institutions that are trying to catch the Skrulls.
Right.
And so I think that this is like a more effective version of what was trying to be done in Captain Falcon. And because of that, the fact that it feels like a copy paste isn't an issue because it feels like a better version of it.
Makes sense.
But it does feel like a copy paste. Like, watching this took me right back to, like, I immediately was reminded of what I saw with the Flag Smashers.
Right.
Like, we got 3 people, one of whom was like a villain once upon a time, and 2 of them who have worked together before. And, they're just trying to get some stuff done. They're trying to stop these terrorists from doing things. But I will say, I predicted that Maria Hill would die because her name was not in the opening credits.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I want to mention about the open credits later on too. I don't know if you guys seen all the controversy with that.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it. But I was looking because I couldn't remember her last name, but I knew her first name was Kobe.
Yeah,
and so I was looking for her name in the opening credits, and when I didn't see it, I was like, "Oh, she dies," because she's not. Her not being in the opening credits means we don't see her again.
Right.
So she dies. And so when she died, I was like, yep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon?
I really, me. This is my bag right here. Political thrillers, spy espionage, like this is my bag right here. Winter Soldier is my favorite movie ever. Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier is my second favorite Disney Plus movie. Disney Plus series from Marvel. So like this is right in my bag. And I thought they did a really good job of like explaining. Like I thought Nick Fury was like the standout. I know that's easy to say, but like they did a good job of explaining like, okay, this is an old Nick Fury. This ain't Winter Soldier Nick Fury. This ain't Avengers Nick Fury. This is a Nick Fury who's kind of washed a little bit and isn't 3 steps ahead like he usually is.
Yeah.
And everybody sees it.
Yeah, exactly. We keep calling him out on it and stuff. And he seems like he's having like PTSD from being blipped. You know what I mean?
I'm curious about that too.
Yeah, like I think that he's like pissed off that he wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like now he's like, hesitant to pull the trigger, hesitant to make a certain move or whatnot because he thinks, things are not in my hands anymore. I'm not really in control of things that I thought I was going to be in control of. So I thought Samuel Jackson killed it. I thought, obviously, Maria Hill, RIP, a great soldier for us. She went down for the cause. I thought we lost Everett Ross for a sec, but then I was like, even during that conversation, I was like, all right, one of these niggas is Skrull. I loved how they did the conspiracy theorist. That dude was great. I was like, this dude pulled straight from like some shit you see on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't get it. That's what they want you to think. It was really
with a show
good.
like this, you don't know who's going to be human and who's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah, and so like their interaction.
That's why I was
the whole
excited
time,
about this show.
Right, the whole time I'm like, all right, which one? Even like if this show you're watching like mannerisms, you're watching everything just to see okay who's a Skrull, who isn't. And I will say the Gravik guy, he's an interesting looking guy. So I definitely was like, all right, this dude might be a really good villain. And when homie pulled the trigger on the bombs, I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I know.
That was a great shot.
I guess I guess British and light skinned is the villain theme right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure
that's
that
also from the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, so I'm sure a dude from Bridgerton is gonna be in here soon.
Right.
Wait, Brandon, so what'd you rate the episode?
Oh, I'll give it a strong 8. Give it a strong, really good start. We had some suspense, we had some surprises. It gave us what we needed. It gave us enough scrolls, but not too much to where it looked like funky or anything, or we had too much time to like critique the CGI or anything like that. So, and I thought the writing was really good. Talos was great. So, yeah, I give it a strong 8. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, so I mean, I recently read the comic book run that this is based on, like within like the last 2 months. I also give this an 8. And the reason I'm super excited for this show is kind of what I said already, is like, you don't know who is going to be a Skrull and who isn't. Like, and that excites me, especially that they're making this like a spy thriller. Like, this is going to be really good. I really enjoyed Nick Fury. Like, yeah, he did really good. I'm curious to see what's wrong with him after the blip. I'm curious to see also with Talos in the episode. You know, they mentioned a couple times that the fight scene with Talos and the other guy they were fighting, he wanted to be the one who defeated that guy, and I'm like, well, why does he need to be the one to defeat him?
Right. I didn't take that as he needed to be the one to defeat him. I took it as him not wanting Nick Fury to kill him.
I thought he was saying like he wanted to be the one to fight him, like he needs this.
I also took it. Only reason I took it the way Spenser did is like the way he delivered the line. Like, I said no, sort of like, I don't want any more Skrulls to die in this war.
And that's what I mean when I say, like, I feel like they gave his character, like, they made him peaceful, and he really just wants no more bloodshed. And that's what we got from him in Captain Marvel also. Like, he was willing to talk and negotiate and like try to make peace. And I think that like Talos is just a man of peace.
Yeah, he knew.
See, I took it as like he needed this as far as like a moral victory for himself. Like, I feel like he's been through so much, so I thought he was like, hey, he needs to be the one to defeat them. Like, maybe because people think he's a traitor, so maybe he's like all washed up and like he needs his victory.
And also, Nick Fury made a comment that said, like, Gravik knows that your weakness is your mercy and your morality, and like he ain't got that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, like, he knows that your weakness is the fact that you're a peaceful person and that peace is what you want. And so, like, he's able to use that against you, and he's got one up on you because he knows that you won't go as far as he will.
Right.
And Nick Fury was basically saying, like, you need to show them that you're willing to go there.
Right.
I got you. I was talking to somebody today, and they asked me, we talked about like the last time we actually seen Nick Fury was Infinity War. Like, so he mentioned that, they mentioned an episode that he's been up there 8 years, building Saber out. So I wonder like what he has been doing like that whole time. Like, I wonder will we get that flashback of like, I know he's been building Saber, but like I want to know like what he's been doing to build it. Also, do we know what the acronym for Saber is?
I don't. I mean, space something. I wonder if we'll get a backstory in this show or in the Marvels.
Yeah, because in the Marvels trailer they show him in space.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if Saber was supposed to be Sword. Because I know
that's what I took it as.
Yeah, like I know that Sword has heavy involvement in the Secret Invasion story,
Right.
but so I didn't know if this was like a stand-in for that or if this was something separate and Sword is still something we're going to see. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. I mean, Saber, Sword.
Yeah, they've definitely changed acronyms before. That's definitely a thing they do. So it makes sense.
In the MCU, yeah, they do what they want.
Yeah,
So
I didn't realize
who knows?
too. Gaia is Daenerys from Game of Thrones. I did not know that.
I was going to ask that question.
That is the first thing I think when I see her face.
And that's the thing. I saw her face and I was like, that's Game of Thrones.
I've only ever seen her in blonde, but you guys know I'm terrible with people names.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's
when I saw her. Yeah, like whenever she showed up and was like, "Show me your real face," I was like, "That's okay, okay, Game of Thrones." But and I noticed it because I was like, "Why is she British and Talos is Australian?"
Yeah,
they're screwed. And I shouldn't care, but I just was like, "Why?"
Hey man, it might be some cheating with some infidelity off in there.
What if she grew up in Great Britain or something?
Whatever the Scrolls version of that is.
Because I think she grew up in America. She grew up in America, right?
I was gonna say maybe her mom is British.
Yeah,
her mom better be British. If her mom's not British, I'm gonna be confused, and I'm gonna have something to say about it if her mom's not British. Or maybe Gravik's British ass taught her.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Might be the daddy.
I did wonder. Did y'all? I sent some chemistry between Nick Fury and Sonya, the spy.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
There's some history, or there's some want there.
Yeah, I was like,
because
a couple lines
back in the day. Yeah, back in the day, they used to get down.
Yeah, with the whole would you like a drink?
Yeah, she was like, now I like.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I like bourbon.
Yeah, he's like, that's some shit you say to somebody you've been around for a minute.
If they know you like bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, also, one of the funniest things happened. Samuel L. Jackson called himself a spook. And
bro, I didn't know what that was about.
You could only Samuel L. Jackson could pull that off on a Disney property.
What is that? What does that mean?
It's a racial slur.
I thought so. The way
I didn't know that.
Reacted, but I was like, I don't even know the history of it or what it is.
It's in a long list of racial slurs, but yeah, calling a black person a spook is in the long list. And it's I mean, all racial slurs are old school, but I wouldn't necessarily call it an OG racial slur like moon cricket, but it's
what? Hold on.
It's a racial slur.
Laugh at that, bro, but that is, I wasn't expecting that.
I tried to look it up. It says a spook. I mean, I feel terrible if this is like we're like dissing some race out there or something, but it says a spook is like a ghost or like a CIA spook, like a spy. And like even the slang for it says an undercover agent or a spy.
Look up.
Yeah, that's probably the current. And I don't know if it was a situation where black people were saying that white people look like ghosts, and so white people responded by saying black people look like spooks. But yeah.
And there's a whole article about the racist history of the word spook.
I knew there would be because
that's crazy. I never heard that.
It is a slur. But again, only Samuel L. Jackson could let that one in a Disney property. And I wonder if it's a situation where Samuel L. Jackson was like, I'm going to say this, and they were like, cool, that's fine, and had no idea. I don't know if that's the case, but again, I don't.
What did you find, Brandon?
Like Captain Falcon wouldn't have been able to let that one fly.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't until World War II that spooks started to refer to black people. The black army pilots who trained at the Tuskegee Institute were referred to as Spookwaff, being the German word for weapon. or gun. Once the word spook was linked to blackness, it wasn't long before it became a recognizable, if second tier slur.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
And I think that with that historical context, him using spook with Russians made sense with him referencing the Cold War in the same conversation.
Makes sense.
Now,
it was interesting.
Here we go again, because we all have kids. How do y'all feel about Disney just continuing to just throw cussing in there? Does it affect y'all or anything? Like, I feel like when I hear it, I'm like, well, I can't let my kid watch this whenever, even though she wasn't even watching now. But
yeah, I think that's the only reason I don't mind it. Like, I guess what I've understood now is there's tiers to Disney, where it used to be just Disney. Like, even if you go to Disney Plus, like if you went to Disney Plus during the pandemic, it was just Disney. It was just Disney movies or a couple TV shows. That was it. Where now it's like, Mickey, it's all kind of wild shit on Disney Plus now. So it's like you can't even, like, it's tiers to it now. Like, this is a grown up show to me. Like, kids shouldn't be watching a spy thriller. You know what I mean?
But I mean, it's still superhero stuff. So I mean, you could if somebody's like, they don't care what the kid watched, and the kid is 7 or 8. I mean, they could watch it.
Blade is also superhero stuff.
I was gonna say Deadpool is a superhero. I mean, technically,
and that's the thing. I don't have a problem with it because it's PG-13, and a 13-year-old hearing the word shit makes sense to me.
Yeah, I guess I'd be wanting to enjoy some of these shows with my kids, but they're just not at that age yet, and I hate waiting. But
yeah, and I think that's what it is. At the end of the day, like, you can't show this to your kids, and I think that that's the issue. But it's hard to determine what is and is not appropriate for PG-13. Just because when you think about morally, what is appropriate for a 13-year-old, and then you think about what are 13-year-olds actually doing.
Yeah.
Like, those are very different. Because
super annoying.
I mean, I know by the time I was 13, I was cussing.
Facts.
And I mean, in front of the right people. But
I mean,
there's nothing I've seen in a PG-13 movie that I wouldn't have been able to handle at age 13, and really by age 10, maybe.
I'm just trying to do the right thing, Spike Lee. So
I mean, honestly, in this movie, in this show, a person gets shot in the first 5 minutes. Another person gets murdered on the ground, brutally murdered, and then there's a bomb. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is like a hard PG-13.
Dude, that was,
and I think that PG-13 is getting harder. Like, because there are a lot of times I will see something that's PG-13, and I'm like, that's a loose PG-13.
Yeah, I'm more conservative with the PG-13 now.
Yeah, dude, that was a good setup though with Gravik. Like, you see him at the beginning of the episode. We don't know it's him, like, as the little girl.
Oh yeah, lady staring at.
Oh yeah, that was good to like see him continue. So because like, what is this little girl? Like, is she taking him somewhere good? Like,
is Samuel Jackson a crazy person, or is Nick going crazy?
Like, but that last scene where he's like following him, his Gravik transforms into different people. Like, that was dope.
And Gravik transforms quick, like, because all the other scrolls, they like take a minute.
Yeah,
but his are instant. And
this is like a horror movie level.
And one of the things that, I'm just a tiny bit nitpicky here and there. I wonder when Skrulls choose to like morph with clothes and without clothes, because whenever Beto, who I assume we'll see again, was introduced into the Skrull Haven, his clothes were not a part of his transformation. Like, he was wearing clothes, and then he changed his Skrull face, but like his clothes stayed the same, and then he changed back to a human. But whenever they brought in the random dude and he was like, all right, take his form, he took his clothes too. And so I I wonder how consistent it will be with the are they wearing clothes or are their clothes a part of their like transformation?
That's a good point. I've never even thought about that. That's a very
I
good
don't
point.
either. But I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's just me, being nitpicky. Y'all should have known that was gonna happen.
Yeah. So I'll be only because I read the comic. I wonder if they're going to try to convince Nick Fury that he is a scroll. So like in the comic book event, the Scroll Queen tried to convince Iron Man that he was a scroll, and he basically had like a mental breakdown. I wonder if we're going to see that with Nick Fury. Because
I
like
will say,
because you don't know.
yeah, it's true. You don't. I will say, I've read that like Kevin Feige and those like they told the writer to not read Secret Invasions at all. Like, do not read the comics. Yeah, I know it broke your heart, but
Yeah,
they
that's
literally told
whack.
him, do not read the comics. That way you can create on your own. They probably gave him like hey, we got to have this happened, and then you fill
Well,
in the rest.
because they had to, because like in the show we see them put the humans in like the little stasis pod
Yeah,
where
right.
they're taking the brain thing, and that I
Yeah,
mean that happened in the comic as well. Like they had them
right.
there where they could take their memories and everything.
I'm sure they gave him like base
That's kind of
knowledge on
whack.
certain stuff, but then was
Yeah.
like, all right, now you can drive in that direction. But I mean, I'm okay with it just because, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the comic like that. But also, I mean, you gotta let it. We don't want a
I,
copy and paste version.
no. We don't want to copy and paste, but we want to, we're gonna pay homage. But also, I think I don't know, because in the opening sequence, we kind of see like a queen, like a
Mm,
female, like a queen looking person, and that
yeah,
was straight. That happened in the comics as well.
gotcha.
So I wonder.
I
And I
think
guess
they'll hit
while
the
Now,
main points.
I read it like many moons ago, and I'm trying to remember, was it a situation where there was like a priestess or like a princess who
it was
like foresaw the destruction of the planet and they were like, nah, that'll never happen to us. And then whenever Galactus came and ate that shit and the prophecy was fulfilled, they were like, oh, our queen, we were so wrong and we worship you now because you were right. Is that what happened? Did I just make that up? Or
That's a
something
I don't
great
like
think that
story.
that?
happened. Yeah, I'm saying I don't think that
No, I've
happened.
never read it.
I mean,
Honestly, you could have sold me on it, and I wouldn't
there.
know.
I guess spoiler alert for a comic book that came out in like 2007. But there was a queen who she was Jessica Drew, Spider Woman, but no one knew it, and she was like basically like a god to them.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, I don't know where I got that from then, because
I don't know. That was a hell of a
I feel
story.
I
Hey,
feel like I remember
I'd read it.
reading that in Secret Invasion, but maybe it's from something
I
else.
mean, it could, but also it could have been a tie-in. I only read the main series. I didn't read any tie-in, and I read the X-Men series.
Of course, you read the X-Men series,
Yeah, I read the X-Men tie-in. I had to read that
Garbage.
one.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that's what happened, but that could be something completely different that I'm trying to tie in.
Yeah. Opening credits though. What I mean, controversial. Spencer, I know you don't really keep up with news. Do you see the controversy about it?
No, I don't know what they said in the news about it. What happened?
Brennan, you want to? I know
Yeah.
you've seen it.
So essentially, what happened was you saw the intro with all the graphics and all that. It was very beautiful looking thing. Essentially, Marvel created using AI to create that, and right now there's a big writers guild strike. There's a lot of like
Funny.
creative, like a lot of you know what I mean? Yeah, apprehension about AIs taking over and taking jobs from creators out there. So that's why there's a big blowback about Marvel even or Disney even using an AI, because that obviously could have been used. Another a designer could have made that
Right.
So that's kind of been the blowback. That's been the big news last couple of days.
I mean, are we surprised?
Spencer,
I mean, we're not.
Imagine
Disney.
someone, they was like, we don't need Spencer tonight for our quartet. Let's get this AI.
No, I'm not saying that it's not egregious. I'm saying I'm not surprised that Disney did that because like Disney feels like an anti-union, anti-employee, anti-worker, pro-capitalism.
They still got a chance to fix it though.
I mean, the person, I guess I haven't read the latest article, but there was someone from Disney who kind of tried to prove that this didn't take away anybody's job or make anyone lose money. You know what I mean? They tried to prove it. I didn't read all details of it, but they tried to come back and try to,
Somebody was like, just typed in a chat GPT and was like, hey, create me a visual for this alien spy thriller.
Probably put in downloaded a PDF of Secret of Agent Comics. It was like, do something about this. Yeah. I mean, I'm never a fan of AI. Like I'm good.
I hope that that's not what this was. I hope that there are people who because it was really good.
That was really good. It was definitely AI. 1,000%. That was 1,000%. So that's why it's like, that's the scary part. It's good. It's not even like, oh, okay, that was AI. It was like, damn, that was beautiful to watch. Like, it's just slippery slope when you start messing with AI.
Yeah,
that's why
I agree, and I don't like it. I am hoping that somebody, I'm hoping that a human being was involved with the making of that, because I don't want anyone to have, and I want people to create stuff for me.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, there are some nuances that AI is just not able to incorporate.
Yeah.
And it's just dangerous, bro. It's just like they're going, because with the writer's strike, the writers are all scared. They're like, Hollywood is just gonna be like, fuck it. Like, all right, let's just do Chat GPT.
Because if y'all on strike, all right.
Yeah.
Like
Chat GPT and we good.
I'd say we use an AI to write it, we use the actors to clean it up, and then we're good.
Exactly. We can just wing it once we get there, and we don't need to pay y'all, which is messed up because with all the streaming and stuff, it's kind of vague on how much they should get paid. But yeah, it's a big blowback. I will say it was fire. Like, I can't even.
That's the thing. It was really good.
It was fire.
It was really good.
Like, I can't even hold it. Like, that was beautiful to watch.
If AI did it, then wow, I understand why they are worried.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask y'all. I got two questions. Do y'all think we're gonna see any like big heroes in the show? And then who do y'all think will show up?
That's a tough thing, man. We're in an era where, like, who is considered big?
Well, what characters do you want to see?
I mean, I think we're gonna get Captain America. I think we're gonna get Captain Falcon. Excuse me, Jesus. I apologize.
Sam about to come through.
You almost.
Steve, R.I.P. My bad, fam. But we're gonna get Captain Falcon. I think either Captain Falcon or Winter Soldier. I'm thinking more Captain Falcon.
I would also assume Captain Falcon.
Yeah, Rhodey will be in the next episode for sure.
You think he'll get his Iron Man suit?
Not yet. I think maybe more towards the end, because I think they got that show with him, the armor, whatever.
I thought they changed that to the movie. It was a show at first. I thought they moved it up to a movie.
I think they did change it to a movie. You're right. I'm trying to think, because I don't think we'll get anybody big, but I could see us getting like kind of how in Captain Falcon we got the Dora Milaje. Like, we didn't get T'Challa, but we got Dora Milaje. So I could see something like that.
Sharon Carter.
I can see that.
What is she now?
She's
broker?
the power broker.
Yeah, power broker.
Ooh, I could definitely see us getting what's my girl name from Thunderbolts? Who's putting the Thunderbolts together?
Oh, DeFontaine.
DeFontaine, yeah.
Contessa Allegra DeFontaine. Is it Contessa? I don't know.
Yeah, I could definitely see her showing up in this. Hope we get my Walker,
John.
Well, let's see, John Walker. Yeah.
So you just want Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier's cast in this?
Yeah.
I mean, he has the best cast, but yes.
Isaiah. Think Isaiah show up?
bro. If Nick Fury went to go visit Isaiah and they could just talk about some, bro,
that'd be
that'd be a
crazy.
fire episode.
Yeah. Who you think gonna show us, Spencer?
Honestly, if anybody shows up, I would imagine it will be people from Captain Falcon. My guess was gonna be that we see Sharon, and I think we might see Carol. I don't know if we see Carol.
Damn.
Yes. Yes, Carol Baskins. She's a Skrull. She killed her husband. But yeah, I don't know. Just because with TV shows, you never know, but also because it's Disney and everything is connected, you never know. Because I didn't think that we would see Carol at the end of Miss Marvel.
Right.
And so because she swapped places with Miss Marvel and is on Earth now, I could see her being like, Nick Fury's here?
Right.
Oh, he's one of my favorite people.
I mean, it would make sense with the scrolls and then sabers involved. It definitely makes sense.
And who we also could see, maybe, no idea, is Jude Law's character, Jan Rog, just because the Skrull and the Kree have some issues.
Right.
And
that's a good point.
So we could see some Kree folk show up.
That'd be dope.
My money's on Agent Woo. We might get Agent Woo off in there.
Okay.
I can see it.
I can see
or
it.
Or Darcy. If Darcy pops up, that'd be lit.
If we don't get Carol, we might get Monica.
Yeah, I was gonna say that also could be easier.
Yeah, because was she at the end of WandaVision? She gets powers, right?
Yeah, she got her powers already,
and that's
she hadn't figured them out.
Who does she go with though? I forgot who she went with.
She leave with Woo?
No, I didn't think she left with Woo. She left with someone. I can't remember what happened to her.
Yeah, I can't help you there.
Yeah. I remember her leaving with somebody, but I couldn't remember what happened to her.
But I mean, and okay, my biggest critique of this show is that it's a show. To me, this should have been a big event. This should have been a movie. You can have the Avengers in it because we all know the Secret Invasions is not some like isolated, very like, in the corner of the universe, no one else touches. Like, no, this is everybody's in this.
Yeah, this one touched everybody.
Yeah, like this is the global it gets. So I wish it was a movie. I'm more pro movie, but I mean, I get it.
I still think it worked better as a TV show because you get to spend more time with people.
I also think it works better as a TV show because I feel like since this episode was almost an hour long, they would have had to take this entire episode and cut it down to 20 minutes if this was a movie and they want to tell the whole story.
Yeah, you get to spend more time with characters on TV shows. Like we might not have got as much time with Gravik or Gaia like that.
And it's far too early to tell because we could be in a situation where at the end we say that should have been a movie.
Right. That's my only concern is
because with Loki, for example, that being a TV show worked because they had a movie budget.
Exactly. That's my only worry is and I mean, they're off to a good start. Don't want to say it. Off to a good start. CGI looks good. They've done everything well. And they're using a Winter Soldier kind of template. It works well. But
so far, they're keeping it contained and grounded.
Exactly. They're keeping it super grounded.
Even though it is a worldwide threat.
That's my only, and maybe they'll land the plane so well to where I won't care. But that's my only worry is this is a worldwide threat, yet we're not going to have any Avengers involved. It's just odd. It's an odd choice.
Well, and I think that the reason for that is we are seeing, because that's what TV shows kind of do. I feel like I'm surprised that you feel this way based on Andor.
Right.
Because with Andor, they give us a lot of context, they give us a lot of world building and story that movies don't have time to do. And a lot of the stuff, again, on the ground, behind the scenes, that's happening in the shadows that, a movie can't take time to explore. And I'm under the impression that this is going to be that same thing. This is going to give us context, and this is going to be a lot of setup
Yeah.
for movies to come.
And I mean, that makes sense. I guess my thing with Andor was just introducing you to like the empire. This is a new empire. This is all these things are new, but kind of we're touching on the ground stuff. So it's not like we're not talking about like a TV show about Luke's story where it's like some big event. But I feel like Secret Invasion is one of the biggest events Marvel has, and yet we're grounding it to a TV show and taking out 90% of the characters that were in the actual, global event in the comics. And it may land the plane. It may be something actually Marvel needs as far as grounding everything. But I'm just interested. I don't know.
Okay. And I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I though I'm pro TV show because it gives more time to breathe and it allows you to show more. And sometimes because you have a smaller budget, you have to have better writing in order for it to be up to the standard of quality that is expected.
Right.
So you can't rely on and lean on the action and the CGI as much. Like you have to actually write something that has weight to it and that can hold itself up to everything else in the same universe.
Gotcha.
How did y'all feel about Gaia? Because I mean, she looks like she betrayed her dad again. Because she says she was gonna mark the bags, and she marked some bags, but I mean, they ain't right.
I have questions because I don't know because it sounds like she wasn't all the way in the know. So
that's my thought as well.
My question is, did she betray and mislead her father on purpose, or did she really think she was helping and Gravik kept her in the dark?
I think more of the latter. I think Gravik smart enough to see, because he even in when he was sitting down, he was looking at her a little funny. He was a little suspect about her. I think he was 2 steps ahead and was like, "All right, she's gonna turn. All right, we gonna make a few moves,
or at a minimum, like we can't trust her with anything."
Yeah, like this. I feel like this may have been a test for her. She failed the test, obviously. And now we'll see, what'll happen in episode 2, what our repercussions might be. But I took that as he was 2 steps ahead. He knew Nick Fury was going to be there. He knew they was going to work together. And then that's why he looked at Nick and blew the thing up. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, because there were 3 bombs.
Do we know what happened to the mom? Did she?
Not yet.
Okay.
It just says, I think it just said she died. And she was really hurt by Nick Fury leaving. And
I think
according to Talos, they did it, or they're responsible in some way for it.
I think we'll get it maybe like a flashback or something.
Okay, I can't remember if she was killed in Captain Marvel or not.
I definitely looked her name up, and I was like, I didn't find anything, so I was like, okay, must be something.
Because I don't remember her in Captain Marvel. I don't think,
unless I thought she was in there.
Unless she was the one who was with him whenever
they
showed up.
Yeah,
because I guess I didn't realize that was his wife. Like whenever in Captain Marvel, whenever the Skrull turns into Maria and is out there playing with Monica.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that was his wife until right now.
Is this show taking place currently in the timeline of the MCU?
I think so.
I assume.
Pretty sure.
Because because in the MCU, it's 2024?
Maybe late.
I think a little bit later than that.
Well, it might be like 25, 26.
Also, I got another huge question.
Okay.
this is the thing that brought Nick Fury back, apparently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the big ass celestial Nick he's just looking at it from space, like he just taking an eye at it, and that
Look
wasn't
at
good enough
that.
for him to come back, huh?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm guessing that because nothing happened with that, it wasn't big enough. It wasn't a big enough problem.
Bro,
that that seems like
they're
a
gonna
big problem.
retcon that thing. Bro, I promise you they're gonna retcon. I swear. They're gonna come up with a reason. They're gonna come up with somebody put a spell to where no one can see it. They're gonna do something, bro. They're gonna act like the Eternals never happened.
And didn't the rest of the world see the other Eternals get picked up by the other celestial? Didn't people see that?
I would imagine they would have to have seen that.
So Nick just saw that. He's like, "No, not my problem."
Again, since nothing happened, I'm guessing that was their justification for it.
I'm telling you.
Well, maybe he saw that and was like, "We got to be prepared a little bit more. Now we have to deal with alien gods."
I mean, he knew that was a thing already. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, he probably should have been like, "That's celestial. That's that's celestial, folks. Operation Celestial." In effect, like something like he should know more than anybody. But I really think they're gonna retcon act like that did not happen. I mean, they haven't even addressed it. So
Yeah.
So, Jordan, what were your thoughts on Nick Fury's characterization and his, scarring that came from the blip and his, I don't even want to necessarily say his shaken confidence. Like, I think that he feels fine and everyone else is like, nah, nigga, you need to sit down.
That's what I think. I think he is like playing everybody. Like I don't think he's washed up as everybody thinks he is.
And I agree, because
I think that's
in
what the
Winter
game is.
Soldier we kind of saw that. In Winter Soldier, he was playing like he was, in distress a little bit, but he was like, "No, I'm good. I know what's going on. Y'all not gonna get me."
Yeah.
So I believe he's playing the long game. I don't think he's lost it like people think he has.
And I guess everybody
But
is cool with Talos just, pretending to be Nick Fury. Because what movie is that
yeah.
when he pretended to be Nick Fury? Like he's riding around in the car.
Was that Captain Marvel? Was that the end of Captain Marvel? Or was that a different movie?
Oh,
wait, what are y'all talking about?
No, it was because he was in space. Like he was being Nick Fury, and
yeah.
somebody else may have been like Coulson. Another Skrull may have been Coulson, and like they then showed Nick Fury up in space doing stuff.
You don't remember that, Brandon?
It was definitely an end credit scene. I just don't remember which movie it was for.
I don't remember which one it was for. I don't remember. I low-key I remember it now that you explained it, but I didn't know that was a thing, because I thought he was just gone. Like I thought they knew Nick Fury's not around after the blip.
That was in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because remember Nick Fury was in that movie, and the whole time it was really Talos. So I guess everybody's just cool with him pretending to be Fury. Nobody's pretty pissed about that, or is that like?
Or that may have been the plan anyway, or they found out later, or they don't know. I would assume that the people up high are cool with it, and it was probably their idea because they didn't want everybody knowing that Nick Fury wasn't there.
And I guess all the Skrulls just, they keep choosing to come to Earth, or is this like a faction? This is basically a faction of the Skrulls that was already on that ship when they first found it, or these Skrulls coming to Earth because Earth's kind of like a refuge right now. Did they explain that?
I think might be a little both.
Yeah, like,
it was a refuge.
Yeah, I think it is a refuge, but I don't think they explained if all of the Skrulls that are going to be here are already here, or if there are Skrulls incoming still. Because, like in Captain Marvel, we see them arrive, but I don't know if everybody who's going to be here is here and everybody else is like waiting, or if it's a situation where like there are Skrulls periodically arriving and trying to figure things out and get where they need to be. Because I don't know, Yeah, I don't know if the scrolls on Earth are still in contact with the scrolls not on Earth, or if there are even scrolls that are not on Earth, because they're looking for a new home. Has their home already been destroyed, or is it on the brink? Are the Kree involved with that destruction?
Did Thanos, or am I making it up? Didn't Thanos destroy their planet when he was looking for some of the stones?
I don't
If-
remember.
I don't
Or did
think
I
the
just make that
Scrolls
up?
planet.
Yeah,
Some reason
if he did, we didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Maybe
We may
I
have heard
missed
about it, but the only planet we saw him destroy was Gamora's planet.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like that's when he picked her up.
And I'm tripping. Don't the Kree have the brain trust? Isn't that the
Yeah.
thing? Okay. Because I was thinking maybe he destroyed the Kree's planet, but I don't think that's right.
Because when Ronan failed, Thanos may have been like, "All right, all y'all,
Yeah.
we're
Control,
done."
delete. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I am under the impression that we will see Kree something. Like that's one prediction that I do have, is that if we don't see the Kree at all, I'd be a little surprised, just because they were like brought up as, opposition to the Skrulls. But like Talos was the one who said, no, the Krees are the bad guys.
Right.
Dude, what if we see Super Scroll and he has like the Fantastic Four powers? That'd be pretty lit.
I'd be very surprised.
That would be crazy. It's just like a little hint and nod to him. Like he has like a rock fist and other firearm he could stretch. That'd be a cool little nod to the Fantastic Four, though.
Yeah.
If your boys were told specifically not to read Secret Invasion, we're not getting
Yeah. Probably not, brother. I will say, as an update, they did say that, speaking of Fantastic Four, they're going to announce potentially the casting in September. So the cast for the Fantastic Four in September. So
I didn't
look out
at
for
all
that.
Did you look at that article where they showed some of the movies got moved around? Did you look at that?
I didn't look at it all, but I pretty much took it as like pretty much everything is like moved back to a year almost.
Oh, okay, is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Even it was like Star Wars. It was everything.
Okay.
Due to this strike that's happening.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't
sense.
look at the article, and I just saw they moved movies around, but I didn't
Even
realize, like,
Power Rangers movie was supposed to be worked on. Even TV show was supposed to be worked on, but due to the strike, everything's pushed back.
is it strike for money? Do we know why they're striking? Is it money or is the AI thing?
Yeah, it's for money because like if I help write a show for a cable television show, there's like a very clear payment system on like views, whatever, and I get paid off that. Where streaming, if I'm a writer for a show on Netflix, Netflix doesn't give like people data to see like, okay, how many people have watched this show. It's super successful, but okay, what does that mean monetarily for me, like metrics wise? So they're trying to basically like get paid the fair price for, because it's like writers out there that are living like check to check, and they wrote for like a big time TV show.
Well, I guess that's if we're bringing it back to the MCU, that's the thing. Like a lot of these comic book creators, they aren't being paid from their ideals. Like they're taking everything from the movies. Yeah, like they're taking everything from the comic book, stripping it right out of that, putting it into the movies, and then they barely even get acknowledged.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should be a thing. Like you should get in your, like, especially if they bring you to like help or like advise. Like you should get, even if they don't. Like you should, if they use a comic book run or a story you created, yeah, they should have to pay you.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So I have two questions. I know that Disney has Marvel Studios, but does Disney own the comic books as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they bought Marvel in general. So
okay, so literally all the ideas and properties that belong to Marvel, Disney owns and can thereby do whatever they so desire.
Yep.
Exactly. They actually just got Namor and Hulk right, so they can
I
make
saw
a
that.
solo movie for them if they
I
wanted
saw
to
that.
now.
Yeah, I think that was like last week too.
Yeah.
Second question. And we've talked about this, but I don't know if we've talked about this on here. What are your thoughts on the movies influencing the comic books
Oh yeah, we had this conversation the other day. I remember.
rather than the comic books influencing the movies, which does happen? But
Yeah.
I guess, what are your thoughts on stuff in the MCU becoming official and making its way into the comic books as what is quote unquote
Right.
canon or what is
'Cause-
real or all of that?
Brandon, because did you see? I remember we had a conversation about this because recently they killed Miss Marvel in the comics, and the theory is they're going to bring her back, change her powers to be just like they are in the MCU.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did hear about, because in comics they're killing Punisher, and they're like, all right,
yeah,
is this gonna have effect on the Punisher in the MCU? Which
yeah,
if it does, I'll fucking
yeah. Only because he's
delete my
fucking
Disney Plus account. But
dickheads messing up fucking Punisher.
yeah, I know, like idiots. But my thought, I'm not as bent at it. I'm not as mad about it because I've had experiences where I didn't like a character the way it was in the comics, but then when it was influenced by the movies, I then like was more attracted to actually reading it, read it, and loved it. So like I can see both ways. Like I can see if I love a comic book character, if I loved maybe Guardians of the Galaxy before, and then the movies totally changed with the comic books now, I can see why someone would be upset about
Which he
that.
did because
Exactly. That's why I brought it up. Yeah. And like it directly changed. Like if you look at a Star Lord comic now, most of the time it looks like oh god, what's my name?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's I can definitely see both sides, but I'm not mad about it just because I've seen the success of one way or the other.
I mean, Iron Man is the biggest example.
Exactly. Like Iron Man is the best example because Iron Man comics were not flying off the shelves like that. And then once Tony Stark became, you know what I mean, Robert Downey Jr., people was like, oh, let me go read it. You know what I mean? Now if they look alike, let me go read that. And it's pretty good. So yeah, I can see both. Definitely see both ways.
I mean, you know me. I'm comics should influence the movies, but also I think the movies could also be their own thing. Like I think they should take cues from the comics, but they don't necessarily have to follow the comics, beat for beat. But also if you take those cues, you need to also pay homage. But I do not want the movies. I do not want the movies influencing the comics.
Yeah, this is gonna happen. No more. You already know it's gonna happen.
Well, I think when we did the Miss Marvel review, I think I told y'all that they are going to make Miss Marvel a mutant in the comics, and I'm gonna be mad if they do that.
Yeah, I mean it makes more sense, but I'm kind of glad they did it.
No,
but we won't get into all that. But.
Yeah, Spencer, what do you think?
I think that it is. I'm against it because I feel like it is pandering and sacrificing potentially good storytelling for money. Because I think the only reason you do that is because you figure since the movies are more popular than the comic books, we need to make the comic books look like the movies so that the people who are watching the movies will recognize it and get the comic books. And so I understand it, I guess, from a marketing and financial standpoint, but I don't like it because it feels like the reason they're doing it is nefarious almost, and it's not for what I would consider to be the right reason. Like it's not because they think that what the movies are doing, it's not because the movies are doing better storytelling than the comic books. It's not because the movies have better ideas or the movies are, just having things that the comic books aren't. It's purely because of like recognition. And so there are enough people that only know the movies, and so that's what they're talking about. That's what is law to them. And so whenever somebody references something from the movies, and then a comic book person is like, nah, that's not true at all. It's almost just to pander to and appease the people who only watch the movies, so that those people can be right and be in the conversation. It feels like.
But you know what's crazy is like, if they're trying to get people who only watch the movies to read comics, for someone new coming into comics, you're not going to see the same exact thing that you see on there. Well, I can tell you right now,
that's what they're trying to fix. Or not fix, but that's what they're trying to do.
Maybe because even with the Avengers, so like with the Avengers movies, these characters are not the same characters that we see on the Avengers team, like in the comics. Like they'd be completely different. But I can also see that because with Guardians of the Galaxy, like Brendan said, that team changed in the comics to reflect what the movie was.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like there are times when it works. And the example
also, I guess the characters in the comics behave different too. So
yeah. And that's the thing. I like the idea of having I like the idea of them being separate entities and them just kind of taking and borrowing and using, but not necessarily making that law. Or I'm okay with a comic book run being built around a TV show that expands upon that. But I don't necessarily know how I feel about them taking what is established and changing it to match the TV shows or the movies just because they're TV shows or movies. So if it's a situation where like a comic book event happens and then there's a movie adaptation of that, and then they take that movie adaptation and rewrite the comic book story to match that, then I don't think I can get behind that. But if it's a situation where like there's a movie that comes out and people love it and people want more of it, and so they write a comic book diving into that, that's fine.
Yeah, right. That's what they did with John Wick, I believe.
Yeah, and Avatar: The Last Airbender did a similar thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of we have this existing comic book content and then they make a movie that changes stuff. And then they're like, all right, now we need to make the comic books match the movies. So we're just going to kind of undo all the stuff that we did before so that we can make these things match because this is what people recognize. That's the thing that I don't necessarily like. And so I love that we got Robert Downey Jr., and I think that Robert Downey Jr., of course, changed the game. But I don't think that means that the comic book Tony Stark had to die and get replaced with Robert Downey Jr. in the comic book.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I will say, I feel like, and I may be wrong on this, but I feel like Marvel does this more than DC. Like DC doesn't usually, they kind of keep their comic book versions the same. Like Wonder Woman, the same.
DC is okay with having DC is okay with having multiple universes running at the same time. Marvel,
I think James Gunn is changing that.
I think he is too.
Yeah, I think he said he wants to have like one continuity.
But he's still cool with like the fact that he brought up Elseworlds means that it does not all have to match perfectly, because again, DC's always been that way. They've always been comfortable with having like a main universe or a main continuity and then telling stories that aren't in it, that are isolated or that are by themselves or that are contained or whatever. And Marvel wants total and complete connection, other than Spider-Man, it seems like. But they also don't own Spider-Man, so they like can't quite.
Yeah.
But DC has, at least so far, DC has always been okay with having a main continuity and then telling other stories on the side also. And because James Gunn specifically mentioned that there will be Elseworld stories, it sounds like even though there may not be as many, that will still be a thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I see both sides of it, but I definitely can see where I definitely can also be a fan of just separating them and keeping them total separate. So,
Because I prefer, I guess, I don't necessarily need them to be just 100% separate, but I don't need I don't need MCU versions of comic books, I guess. Like I'm okay with having Marvel comics and then having the MCU. But
yeah.
I don't need the MCU to almost like parasitically take over literally everything that we see from Marvel. And I think that may have to do with the fact that I've been a fan of DC the entire time. Perhaps this is on my agenda. I don't know. But I
I would
mean,
say,
an example is Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes had to die so that Avengers Assemble could be a show because Earth's Mightiest Heroes was not MCU enough.
yeah,
Like that,
Yeah.
which happens with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, and I think we talked about that before. The third one was very MCU focused, and it also
Right.
happened to Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
yeah,
They got
that was
very
straight MCU.
exactly, which I did not like. I will say because I thought about this. So at one point in Marvel, I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to have like the prelude comics to the MCU movies. So like there was a prelude comic to Thor Ragnarok. There's a prelude to Iron Man 3, and it'd be written by comic book writers. And basically it's like a prelude to the intro to the movie, which
And
I'm completely fine with them doing
yeah,
that.
that I can
That's
get
perfect.
behind
Yeah, that's perfect.
because I'm perfectly fine with comic books expanding on movie universes, but I don't know if I like a movie universe influencing comic book canon and completely changing what's happening in the comic book for the sake of matching the movie because it's popular.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was pretty pissed with the whole video game thing because that was a tough one. That was a tough time. It's like you take out Wolverine, which is probably what one of the main characters of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like,
And that's another thing. If we are trying to base everyone on the MCU, that means that we just may not get comic book stories for people who aren't in the MCU yet.
right.
Yeah.
Because they may say, well, we don't want to write anything for this person because if it's different from the MCU, we're either going to have to change it or we're going to have to, figure it out. And so who knows if because there are a lot of people who love the Fantastic Four in the comic books, like not any movies. That's ugh. But what if they started basing the comic books on those trash ass movies?
Yeah. They're not doing that, but I get your point.
But I think that my actual point here is, are they even writing Fantastic Four stories because the Fantastic Four aren't on screen right now?
They are. That's my only thing is like I don't think it's as widespread as some would think. Like they have continuous like they did for a while. Fantastic Four wasn't a thing, but like they brought it back in like I don't know, it's like
Yeah.
2018, 2017. It's been a long run ever
Same
since.
with X-Men.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're gonna base the movies off of is this most recent run of Fantastic Four. But I do think it's definitely a problem, but I don't think it's widespread as because I mean, even with T'Challa, they redid a T'Challa story with Ta-Nehisi Coates, and honestly, they kind of based the movie a little bit off of that storyline. But then Ta-Nehisi Coates took T'Challa to fucking space and all kind of other random stuff. Not, that it had anything to do with the movie. And I think T'Challa was different. Like some of the characters were different, but I think that one's a little more, whole like it's being a little more honorable to the comics rather than the other way around.
Yeah. I got one more thing that I want to kind of talk about. Since we're talking about like the comics versus the MCU, do you guys know any characters who were created in the MCU that weren't in the comics?
Um,
I had to look up a list because some of them I didn't
feel
know.
like I knew this at first.
I feel like mostly side characters. Like with side characters, it's really hard to tell just because unless you have specifically seen them, they may have existed a long ass time ago and got pulled in. So Darcy, for example,
Yep.
like I would
She
assume
recently
I would assume the MCU created her.
MCU created her, but she recently came into the comics as well. But yeah, MCU definitely created her.
Yeah, so like
Bro.
side characters like that are the one like Agent Wu. Not sure about him.
He's actually completely different in the comics versus how he is in MCU.
So
I think he goes by Agent Zero.
so he was not created by the
No,
MCU?
he was in the comics first.
Okay. What about like Coulson?
No, that's one on the list. So I got 8 characters in front of me. Phil Coulson was an MCU creation, which I didn't know that. I thought he was already in the comics.
I don't know
Okay.
that either.
Brandon,
Well, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be mad at this list because I know
Okay.
there's a few, but
I'll just drop you these 8. So Sylvie from Loki, she was an MCU creation.
So
Uh,
I kind of knew that, but I wasn't because I thought that Sylvie.
it's supposed to be the Lady Loki, but
I
Lady Loki isn't named Sylvie in the comics. It's just
because
Lady Loki.
I thought that Sylvie was the actual name of the Enchantress.
Oh, like her real name?
Yeah, like I thought Sylvie was the Enchantress's actual name.
I
I don't think so.
And I
don't
mean,
think so either.
I know that Marvel and DC both have the Enchantress, but I think that's just what I assume.
No, her real name is Amora.
Okay.
Fun fact: she weighs 450 pounds. Sounds crazy. All right,
She dance.
yeah, but it's crazy because she don't look like it. But she's a god, I guess. So do whatever they want to. Trevor Slattery. If we know him more,
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery, yeah. But Trevor, look at Brandon looking. He don't know. The guy who played the Mandarin, the fake Mandarin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that definitely was a creation.
The actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured Trevor Slattery would have been a creation, but yeah, like because he was random.
Garbage.
I bet in WandaVision, the dude that Evan Peters played, like the fake Quicksilver.
Yep, he's actually number 2. His name is Ralph Boner.
Yeah, him. I'd say I knew the MCU made him up.
Yeah. Also, Luis, our boy Luis. Katie Chin.
I
Katie
figured
Chin was not.
Was Ant-Man's whole squad made up?
Yep, Ant-Man's whole squad was made up. But the number 1 character on the list was Darcy though.
Okay.
But
was that
interesting?
That's
everybody.
Side characters.
Yeah, there's also, well, I didn't name them off just because I didn't know how to say her name, but the sister from Shang-Chi. Zhu.
Oh, gotcha.
Jialing.
Yeah, his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. See you. Makes sense.
And I can support that. I mean, I like that they brought in some new people and whatnot. And if those people get added to the comic books, that's fine because like Harley Quinn is probably the most successful character that did not like the most successful comic book character that was brought in from TV or movies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so it can work.
Yeah, definitely. It can. I mean, obviously, we also know the biggest character to come out of that is Harley Quinn. To like start on TV or movie first.
That's what he just said, bro.
Oh, bro, I don't know what happened. I think I just went like a mind blank.
I was like, "What did you think I said,
bro? I don't even know. That's crazy.
He literally
like, did you just not hear me? Like,
man, wait. Are you a
I already know
scroll?
what just
Jordan?
happened. I know this ain't the real B. Bro, that's crazy. I legit didn't hear nothing. I must have blanked out.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you
Yeah,
literally said
I
what
don't
you
know
said.
where you went because that's okay.
I think I got caught up because I think I was looking at, I might have to correct myself there. Jimmy Woo, he isn't Agent Zero. I think he's just Jimmy Woo. Agent Zero is somebody else. I think that's what I was looking at.
Gotcha.
But,
Good to know
yeah.
that I was being ignored.
You know, I got to make sure if I'm throwing out these accusations of who people are, I got to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So somebody will come in and be like, "No, he isn't this character," and you know, got to make sure I'm doing my best. No fake news. No fake news.
Say we make the occasional mistake here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing too serious.
Any other comments on Secret Invasion? 6 episodes.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here. Secret Invasion.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the finish. I guess my only prediction would be damn, I don't really have any. I was trying to think of it.
I think this might be the end of Fury.
You think we
Yeah, I
lose
could
Fury?
Yeah, I think Nick Fury's gonna be out of here at the end of the show.
Well, hold on.
He's gonna be dead.
I wonder if the Marvels is chronologically after this.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, I don't know. Good point. Do you think people would be pissed if they killed Nick Fury and they made him the white Nick Fury?
Bro.
I do.
Yeah, that would be a major problem.
Ooh, that would not go well.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
all.
I agree. Maybe they de-age him.
I mean, for a couple reasons that wouldn't go well. Not only because he'd be white, but because Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whoever fulfilled that role would struggle.
All right.
Yeah.
My last prediction, they replace Nick Fury. We get a younger Nick Fury. Black Nick Fury.
I don't know.
No.
Bro,
I
think 70.
I think Samuel L. Jackson is perfectly fine doing this till he dies.
I keep forgetting about this damn Marvels movies. Like, it's kind of, I guess you can't really make unless he's a scroll in the Marvels.
So you're forgetting about the women's led movie. Interesting.
I'm gonna be honest. This movie, I have no interest in the Marvels.
Trailer.
It's because you guys don't watch trailers. You guys don't watch trailers. This trailer.
I watched that trailer.
You thought it looked good? You thought it looked interesting?
I mean, the latest one wasn't great, but the first one, I was like, okay, yeah.
Neither one of them looked good.
See, they're right there. That's why I don't watch trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, that there are a lot of reasons, but like that I don't want that.
See, but we should learn our lesson. You watch the Transformers trailer. You're like, oh my goodness,
Facts.
Watched it, trash. So
I didn't watch it, so I didn't have that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you are gonna watch trailers, then go take it with a grain of salt. Especially nowadays, they put everything in the fucking trailer. So
and that's the thing. Like, I don't want the trailer to manipulate my expectations.
I will say I did not watch the Flash trailers. Well, did I watch the first one? Maybe the first one. Didn't watch anything after. Didn't change my thoughts on the movie. You know what I mean? So
that's like, sometimes trailers don't, but
yeah.
because trailers have given me too much, because trailers have lied to me completely, and because trailers have just misled me in some situations, and there are a lot of reasons that I am team no trailers, as far as I can be, and for things that I am interested in. So, like the Indiana Jones movie, not worried about it. I saw the trailer for that. Didn't change my mind.
Yeah.
But, maybe that movie ends up being great. I don't know. I just know that based on that trailer,
There's another trailer out that I am not excited for that movie at all. And I know you guys didn't watch it, but Kraven the Hunter.
I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid trailer.
It was solid, but that's not Kraven the Hunter.
Bro, you act like you are a Kraven the Hunter expert. What are we doing?
Bro, Spencer, tell me what Kraven the Hunter does. Tell me.
He hunts.
Hunts what?
He hunts heroes or people. Spider-Man.
Exactly. In the trailer, no Spider-Man.
Did you expect Spider-Man?
No, he's barely hunting animals. Actually, he's not hunting no animals. He's a pacifist. Come on, no. This isn't crazy. I
We
will
have to
say
get there.
that Rhino cameo. All right, we're spoiling stuff for Spencer. Sorry.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
I say I'm not gonna go watch the trailer. So
well, yeah, that Rhino cameo. That might look kind of cool. That might do Rhino right.
I am gonna watch the movie when it comes out, and we're gonna review it. And I sincerely hope that it is better than Morbius.
Oh, it looks better than Morbius.
It looks better.
We might have to get that on bootleg. So I might have to make me a bootleg copy of that.
Yeah, I was say I don't know for why. We'll see. Yeah.
No,
I'm not a Sonyverse person, so
y'all know me. I'm going to watch it. Yeah. And if I review it alone, that's fine. I review Morbius alone, and I'll do it again because
it looks better than Morbius. Though.
I care about this podcast and making sure that people have what they need.
Look at you.
So
I know.
I will bite the bullet.
You will suffer.
Pay $6 to go see that movie.
Yeah.
I love y'all, man. I love y'all fans, but I probably will not do it.
I'm supporting the theaters.
You do that. I'm waiting for them to drop it on streaming. Anything else about Secret Invasion?
Secret Hunter. No, I'm good.
I mean, I was excited about this anyway because I liked the idea of seeing the situation with the Skrulls and not knowing who's who, finding out that somebody that we've loved this entire time has been a Skrull this entire time. I'm sure that and you can also use he was a Skrull the whole time to answer random bullshit.
Was he a Skrull in Black Panther?
Who's he?
That's the thing. Everett Ross.
Oh, that's the thing.
Oh shoot.
We don't know because
we don't know when he was taken.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have
this show is gonna be, they have to show like how long these people been taking because I gotta know
because I need to know
these people.
Yeah, I need to know if actual Everett Ross is alive. I need to know if who we saw in these Black Panther movies was a Skrull or not, or if there's just somebody, maybe because it could be a situation where that Skrull just showed up as Everett Ross because he knew what the situation was, but also he was in contact with Maria, so
it goes deep.
That's the thing. We don't know, and
dominoes will fall.
Yeah, like that's why I'm excited about this one because and we even before this came out, we had some like very light who do you think could be a Skrull discussion.
Right.
So I don't know, but if I had to guess, Contessa might be a Skrull.
Okay.
Just looking at people in the universe.
I see that.
Guess we'll find out that and more on these next few episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
And we're gonna see.
Well, fellas, what do we say when we end it? We're never duplicated.
Always appreciated.
And forever melanated.